All right, we're going to pick up in Chapter 1, Section 7, learning about basic matrix operations. Your basic operations are things like add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Now, we're not going to worry about multiplying a matrix times a matrix. That's not a basic matrix operation. It's actually pretty involved. But we're going to add them together, and we're going to multiply by what's called a scalar. When adding matrices, they must have the same dimension. And when they do, you add or subtract their corresponding elements. So what we mean by corresponding elements is like top left to top left, top right to top right, bottom left, bottom left, bottom right to bottom right. So these guys are happening there, these guys are happening there, these guys are happening there, and these guys are happening there. That's all they're doing. They're putting the corresponding spots together. Now, adding's not bad. Subtracting, you have to be a little careful, because when you subtract a negative, that negative cancels each other out, makes it a positive. So you're actually adding, so be careful. And if they have different dimensions, it's undefined. Get my red pen here. Underline undefined. So that you cannot add or subtract matrices with different dimensions. Now let's look at a couple of example problems. Okay. What we would do is take the corresponding spots, so the top left 2 and the top left 1 of the second matrix, the bottom left 3 and the bottom left 4, the top right -1 and the top right 2, bottom right 0, and the bottom right -2. That's what's happening. And then we're going to do that in math. So that'd be 3, 7, 1, -2. Okay. That would be our answer there. Now, I assume that most of you can probably skip this part right here, but I'm doing it to show you what is happening inside the matrix, what I would be doing in my head if I was just subtracting these. So this would be 2 minus the -1 for the corresponding spot, 5 minus the 7, -2 minus the -5, okay, -3 minus 2, 4 minus 8, and 8 minus 6. 2 minus a -1, the minus negative, those change to plus positive, so that's going to be a 3. 5 minus 7, well, it goes deeper, so it's going to be -2. -2 plus +5 is going to be a 3, positive 3. -3 minus 2, I'm going to get more negative. That's what happens when you take away, you get more negative, so you can say add negative. So it'll be -5. 4 minus 8 is a -4, and 8 minus 6 is 2. That'd be my answer there. Now as I look at C, this one has 2 rows by 3 columns. This one has 2 rows by 2 columns. They don't have the same dimensions, so this would be undefined. Can't do it, not the same dimensions. Multiplying by a scalar. When working with matrices, a real number is often called a scalar. To multiply a matrix by a scalar, or a coefficient, you could call it that too, but they call it a scalar. Multiply each element in the matrix by the scalar. This process is called scalar multiplication. Basically, you distribute it to everywhere. So the K goes to the A, goes to the B, goes to the C, goes to the D. That's why you got KA, KB, KC, KD. So down here at the bottom, what we have going on is 2 times 3, 2 times 1, 2 times